Right, this is the start of revision for basic algebra. Let's have a look at question 1. We have 3 times g, which is obviously 3g. Now you're probably wondering, well, where's the time symbol? Whenever you multiply a number, let's say whenever you multiply a number like that with a letter, you always write it like this. The time symbols disappears. So for example, 4 times a, 4a. 11 times b, 11b. 100 times x, 100x. So remember, the time symbol disappears. Let's try similar questions. We've done question A. Let's try a similar one. Right, let's do this one, question E over here. Question E. I've done question A. Let's look at question E. Y times 7, 7y. Remember, the time symbol disappears. Number comes before the letter. Always put the number first and then the letter. Let's try question H. This one over here. 5d times 2. Well, 5 times 2 is 10. 10d. The answer is 10d right there. Next one. Let's try this one here. 7 times 3a. Well, 7 times 3 is 21. And don't forget the letter A. The time symbol has disappeared. Right. Question J. Right, we have 4c times 5. 4 times 5 is 20. And don't forget the letter C. The time symbol has disappeared again. Let's do question, that's that one there, question. 4 times 3 is 12. Don't forget the letter R. There you go. Right, let's try something different now. Let's go for, let's see now. Let's do question G. K times K, well, you might think it's K without the time symbol. But you can write K times K like this, K squared. So for example, A times A squared. 2 times 2, 2 squared. 3 times 3, 3 squared. 100 times 100, 100 squared. And in the same way, K times K will be K squared. Right, let's go for question K. Look at that there, A times A, it's obviously A squared, which is very similar to this question over here. Remember, K times K was K squared. So over here, A times A is A squared. Don't forget the 5. Don't forget that 5 over there. It goes right there. Let's try question F. Right here. J times K is simply JK. As simple as that. The time symbol has disappeared. Try to put the letters in alphabetical order. Right then, let's try something slightly different. Let's try the division questions. Let's do question C. H divided by 3 is the same as H over 3. That's a division symbol, right? Just remember that. That's a division symbol. You can make it look like a fraction. Next one, question D. 3 divided by H is 3 divided by H, 3 over H. Right, last question. Now this one is slightly different. Question B I'm referring to. There's no times in here, it's just adding. So when you do, for example, G, add G, add G, how many G's are there? It's 3. That's 3 lots of G's, 3G. So whenever you've got adding, taking away, division, those operators don't disappear. It only disappears when you've got a timesing symbol, right? That's when it disappears. But when you've got adding, taking away, division, those don't disappear. Right, let's have a quick go at question 2. Question 2. Question 2a. G times 4, 4g. Remember, the time symbol disappears, but number comes before the letter. Let's have a look at question B now. Remember, we're not timesing now, we're adding. So g plus 4 is just g plus 4. Question C. C times 4, 4c. So why haven't I put the time symbol? Remember, whenever there's time symbol, it disappears. Question D over here. C plus 4 is just c plus 4. Question E. Careful now, we've got timesing symbol, so that will disappear. So we have 3n times 4. 3 times 4 is 12. And don't forget the letter n. See that? 3n times 4, 12n. Last question. 3n plus 4 is just 3n plus 4. Let's try question 3 now. F take away 7, well, it's just F take away 7. And the take away symbol doesn't disappear. Question B, 4h take away 4 is 4h take away 4. Right, careful with question C. We've got r plus 7 take away 1. That take away 1 there only affects the 7. Those are numbers. So 7 take away 1 is 6. 7 take away 1 is 6. And when I say 6, I didn't say negative 6, did I? I just said 6. So obviously that means it's a positive 6. 7 take away 1 is 6, positive 6. And then what's that letter? That letter R we'll put over here. So have a think about what I've just done. That take away 1 only affect the number, because that's a number there. The minus 1 is, that 1 is a number, that 7 is a number. So that's why 7 take away 1, we just leave it as 6. Right, next one here. That minus 6 affects the 8 only. Right, it doesn't affect the letters. So we have 8 take away 6 is 2. And when I say 2, I mean positive 2. And then don't forget that 6R, leave it there. Now if you need to understand what just happened, if you want to process what just happened, I suggest you pause the video and have a think through every single question that I've just done until you understand it. Now moving on to question 4. You've got an input and you've got an output. So what happens to the input? Something happens to the input to give you the output. Well, you have h plus the 5. H plus the 5 gives you h plus 5. Question B. Y take away 2. Let's take away 2. Here, G becomes 4G. So obviously that's times by 4. Next one, 2A becomes 2A plus 7. So you're adding 7. Question E, 5n becomes 5n take away 5. Minus 5. And then m becomes m over 3. So we know that's a division. Let's divide by 3. Right, question 5. Right, similar to question 4. H plus G gives you H plus G. Right, if you check the output, there's no time symbol. So obviously it's K times F. K times F is KF. The time symbol disappears. Here, notice you got y squared, so it'll be y times y. Remember, y times y is y squared. For example, a times a is a squared, 3 times 3 is 3 squared, and so on. Question E. 2m becomes 2mr. Notice there's no time symbol between the 2m and the r. There's no time symbol, so it must be times r. 2m times r is 2mr. The time symbol disappears. This one, notice you've got a 3 there and a 6 there, so you'll be timesing by 2. 3 times 2 gives you the 6. Alright, see that? 3 times the 2 gives you the 6. And then you need another b there. You need a b. So check. 3a times 2b gives you, well, 3 times 2 is 6. A times b is ab. So that goes in the function machine. Right, this one's a little bit tricky. Here, you know, for example, if you was to go backwards, I'm just showing you the inverse operation. R times something to give you r squared. It's obviously times by r. R times r gives you r squared. We know the opposite of times is divide. So we divide by r. R squared divided by r gives you r. Question 6. I'll just show you these quickly. You should be familiar with these now. Plus 5. Question B. Question A, B, right. Looks like we missed out question C. Let's just look at question D then over here. 2a plus 7 gives you 2a plus 7. And then 5n, take away 5, gives you 5n minus 5. Let's move on to question 7. We can see these function machines are a bit more complicated. Because you've got the input, and then it does two things, and then you get the output. So you just compare the input with the output. The first thing that's happening is times by 4. G times by 4 gives you 4g. But then look at that, we're adding 3, so it's plus 3. So check. G times the 4 gives you 4g right there, plus the 3. There you go, plus 3. Right, next one, question B. You can see here we got the m, and here on the output we got 2m. Right, so you must have had to do times by 2. M times 2 gives you 2m. Then you got the plus 3 over here, plus 3. Done. Here you got the y times by 8 is 8y. And then over here you got take away 5, so you must take away 5 over here. So just check. Y times 8 is 8y. Take away 5, take away 5. Question D. Right, something happens to the h to become h over 2. So it must have been divide by 2. and then you're adding on 5, which is right there, add 5, done. Here you got p take away 6, which is over here, and then underneath it you got divide by 4 right there. Underneath you got divide by 4, so you must divide by 4. So you can check that thoroughly. P take away 6 is p take away 6 right there. And then you've got the divide by 4 right there, divide by 4. Right, last one, question F. You've got the k over here, and then something happens to the k. It becomes k minus 6, so you have to minus 6. So k minus 6 gives you k minus 6, and then you're dividing by 7 right there, divide by 7, which is right there. Question 8. M times 4, 4m. Then you got the plus 1, done. M plus 1, so you have to write it as m plus 1 like that. And then times by 4. Remember, we're timesing, see that times by 4? We're timesing everything here by 4. But we're not going to write it like this. We're going to write it properly. Watch. So we've got m plus 1, and then we're timesing everything we've done so far with times by 4. So times by 4 times all of that by 4. That's how you write it. And remember, there's an invisible times sign there, but we don't need to put that there. So remember, that last thing there, times by 4, applies to everything we've done so far. So really, it should look like 4 times by m plus 1. Last one here, h times 6, 6h. And then everything we've done so far, we've just done 6h, haven't we? Take away 2. You don't need to put the brackets there like we've done for question B, because that 6 and the h is glued together. It's already glued together, so we don't need to put the bracket around it. So we can just write it like this. 6h, no need for the bracket, and then we take away 2. Whereas the one we just done over here, if I do that again, we did m plus 1. But then if I just do times by 4, that is wrong, right? That is incorrect. Here, I'm doing 1 times 4, but I'm not timesing this 4 with the m, am I? So that looks wrong. It needs to be 4 times everything there. Right, if you've not understood that, have another, so pause the video and have another look. What I can do is give you maybe another example. Let's suppose you got m take away 3 divided by 4. So that's the, let's just write that again. Say you start off with m, then you, let's say add 5, and then divided by 3. So how would I write that? What would that look like? That'd be m plus 5, all of that, and then divide everything I've done so far. And what have I done so far? I've done m plus 5 so far. I've got to divide all of that by 3. there's no need to put the bracket there because I know already that I'm dividing n plus 5, all of it, by 3. So no need for the brackets. Here's another one. Let's just get rid of this. Let's suppose we got x take away 3 times by 4. So now we're going to do, let's go from the beginning, x take away 3, so we write x take away 3. Now I'm times by 4. So remember, you can't just do that, can you? Because that would be x minus 3 times 4 is 12. That's not what I wanted. So that times by 4 should have been multiplied by all of that. So to write that properly, like this, again, start from the beginning. We've got x, take away the 3, and then times everything by the 4. Now we're going to do what's called substitution. Question 9. Question 9a. Let me just write that a little bit bigger. 3 times z plus 7. But I'm replacing the z with 6. So that would be 3 times, replace the z with 6, and then you get the plus 7. Use bit mass. 3 times 6, 3 times 6 is 18, 18 plus the 7, 25. Let's do question B. You have 2 times, replace the z with 6 again, then take away 5. Right then, 2 times 6 is 12, 12 take away 5 is 7. Over here, 10 times, replace the z with 6, and then add 6.3. 10 times 6, 60, add the 6 and then the 0.3, that would be 66.3. Next question, question B, that's 3 multiplied by, replace the z with the 6 plus the 7. Remember, there's an invisible time sign between the number and the bracket. So do what's inside the bracket first. Remember BIDMAS, do what's inside the bracket first. We have 6 add the 7 makes 13. So we have 3 times 13, 39. Question C. Very straightforward, that's just 4. And replace the z with 6. 4 add 6 is 10. This one here, we've got 4, add 3 times, replace the z with 6 again. Do BIDMAS, you do the timesing first. 3 times 6 is 18, and don't forget the plus 4. 18 plus 4, 22. Next one, 20, take away 2 times, replace the z with 6, that's 20, take away 2 times 6 is 12, we've used BIDMAS, 20 take away 12 leaves you with 8. Last question, look at the numerator, replace the z with 6, then you've got to take away 1, and underneath that you've got to divide by 5. That will be 6 take away 1 is 5, 5 divided by 5 is equal to 1. Answer is 1. Let's have a look at question 10. Find the first 3 terms of the sequence of numbers by substituting n equals 1, n equals 2, n equals 3. Right, let's do this one first. Replace the n over here, replace the n with number 1. So that would be 4 times 1. Why? Because I'm replacing that n over here with 1. 4 times 1 is 4. Then I'm replacing the n with 2. 4 times 2 is 8. Then replace the n with 3. 4 times 3, 12. Question B. First I'm going to replace the n with 1, then 2, then 3. Let's replace n with 1. So we have 2 times, replace that n with 1, and then plus 3. 2 times 1 is 2, add 3 is equal to 5. Now replace the n. Replace the n with 2 this time. So 2 times 2, add the 3. That will be equal to 7. Next, replace the n with 3. 2 times 3, add the 3. That will be 2 times 3 is 6, 6 add 3 is equal to 9. So those are the numbers then, 5, 7, 9. Once again, remember that topic is called substitution or substituting because we replace a letter with numbers. Question 11 now. This time we're substituting, replacing p with the number 16. 16 add 7, 23. Here we got 16, add the 9.5. Well, 16 add 9 is 25, 25.5. That'll be 6, add 16. That'll be 22. 16 add 16, 32. 16 take away 3, 13. 16 take away 20, 4. 20 take away 16. Sorry, that's my, okay, let's just go back, that's a mistake. 16 take away 20. Right. You're taking a big number away from a small number, that'll be minus 4 then. And this one is actually 4. And then 16 take away 16 leaves you with nothing, 0. Find the first 5 terms. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Find the first 5 terms for each one of these rules. Right, let's do this one first. So we can replace the n with 1 to get this one, and replace the n with 2 to get this one, 3, 4, and 5, and so on. So we can replace the n with 1 for this one. So it will be n equals 1, n equals 2, 3, 4, and 5. Well, let's do the working out. That'll be six times 1 take away 10. That'll be 6 take away 10, 6 take away 10. That'll be minus 4. Next one. This one here, that'll be 6 times 2 take away 10. 6 times 2 is 12. 12 take away 10 is equal to 2. This time I'm kind of running out of space here. Hold on. Let's create a bit of space here. That was minus 4. That was 2. Right here. That was 1, 2. Replace the n with 3 now. 6 times 3, take away 10. It's 18, take away 10. That is going to be 8. Now replace n with 4. That'll be 6 times the 4, take away 10. It's 24, take away 10, 14. Last one. Replace the n with 5 to get the fifth one. Right, you can see here there's a pattern. -4, 2, 8, 14, 20. It looks like the numbers are going up in steps of 6. We're adding 6 each time. It's a linear sequence. I'm going to miss out question B. I'm just going to quickly show you just one or two of these, right? I'll just do these two, and then the others you can have a think about. Let me just do the first one. 0.5, replace the n with 1, take away 1. 0.5 times 1 is 0.5. Take away 1. Half, take away 1. Half, and then you take away 1. That's going to be minus a half, minus 0.5. Right, replace the n with 2 this time. 0.5 times 2, take away 1. Right, 0.5 times 2. 2 times 0.5 is 1. Take away 1 is 0. Right, let me do this just one more. 0.5 times 3, take away 1. Remember, I'm doing this one now. 0.5 times 3, 3 times 0.5 is 1.5. Take away 1, that leaves you with 0.5. That's the third one. Right, you can try the fourth one and the fifth one.